Welcome to the north bank of the St. John River here in Fredericton, where the PEI Mudmen and the Fredericton Loyalists are going to do battle in the 2017 Caledonia Cup.
PEI Mudmen and the Fredericton Loyalists.
My name is Jeff Hull, and I will be with you for the next hour and a half for this battle of two of Atlantic Canada's top rugby union teams. We'll get you started here in just a little bit after O Canada.
And now if you would please rise for the national anthem.
Chris, kind of look like you're going downhill. Check your level. Is it? Must be just the way the...
There is emotion on the pitch here in Fredericton. There is a chill in the air. There are clouds in the sky. If you cannot get excited about rugby on a day like this, it is time for you to take up chess. The Fredericton Loyalists to my left, the PEI Mudmen to my right. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the 2017 Caledonia Cup here in Fredericton, where before the snow falls, we are going to have one last contest for you. The Loyalists managed to eke out a win over PEI during the regular Marathon Elite season, and the Mudmen managed to battle their way back to compete in this year's Caledonia Cup, a clash of the two finest rugby teams in Atlantic Canada. We'll do the starting lineups for you now. For the PEI Mudmen, a front row of Alex Forrest, Sean Doyle, and Phil Lantanier. A second row of Kyle Robertson and Isaac Kirkland. The back row, Cudmore, Carter, and Davis, with the halfbacks Mike Dehan and Brody McDonald. Adam Fitzpatrick, Aaron Fitzpatrick, Simon Hood, Dexter Coughlin, and Charlie Waddell are the PEI backline. A bench of Dunphy, Gallant, Noonan, Mitchell, Lloyd, Coyle, Campbell, Hood, and Gallant. And as the referee gets us started, your Fredericton Loyalists, Foley, Lazon, and the Velma are your front row. Zach Fitch and Eric Plant, the Loyalists engine room this afternoon. Courtney, Como, and Doak are your back row. The dynamic Johnny Cullen in at 9. Mitchell, Howe, Coffey, Eric Selig, Josh Duguid, and Eric Duplessis are the Loyalist backline. On the reserve bench today, Wilson, Anderson, Nash, Mohanan, and Gerben. Brent Roney and former Canadian international Simon Pacey on the Loyalist bench as well this afternoon. Robart, Gilbert, and Cole making up the remainder of the Loyalist reserves. We are about to get started here. PEI in black to my right will kick off to the Fredericton Loyalists. Curtis Lazon goes up for the ball, knocked forward by PEI, and we will get our first scrum of the game. PEI possesses a powerful front row, which they try to use to maximum effect in possession. But it will be Loyalist scrum half Johnny Cullen to put the ball in first. And let's see what the Loyalists do with their first possession. Shove on by PEI trying to disrupt. It's a number 8 pickup. Loyalists are there to clean out. Foley takes the ball forward. Johnny Cullen feeds, and we're going to see some field position. And that is going to go out on the full. And the Loyalists were outside their 22. So a bit of a miscue by Fredericton to start with. And that is going to award PEI some very fine field position. What can they do with it? If you are fortunate enough to be listening to this game, please feel free to get in touch with me at Hull at Home on Twitter. Club appreciates your support. And the Fredericton Loyalists have it off a broken throw into the line. Good yardage from Fredericton. They move it left. Good communication, and they're going to try and use that expansive back line. That is Eric Duplessis, product of RSC Netherwood. And the Loyalists are making ground early on the far side of the pitch. They do like to spread the ball to Fredericton, but they are dragged into touch by PEI. So perhaps some early indications of the type of game that we are going to see this afternoon from Fredericton. The Loyalists do like to play a wide game. They like to move the ball, and it has worked for them this entire season, leading to this game where they have advanced by beating some very fine rugby teams, including the likes of the Halifax Tars, St. John Trojans, rugby in this part of the country, an enormously tribal affair. Some rivalries from teams and players that know each other very well. And we have another knock on, perhaps some nerves showing early. There is a very, very light breeze here on the north bank of the St. John River. The field is dry, the air is cool. You could not ask for better conditions for two elite teams to contest. And here we'll have our second scrum of the afternoon. Again, it'll be Johnny Cullen putting the ball in. Cullen is the Loyalist kicker of choice, in addition to being a rather dynamic scrum half. And what will we see here? Reverse pickup at the back of the line. And the Loyalists take it in through their midfield. They move the ball left and make good yards. Can they clear out fast? They do. Cullen moves it right. Kick to the corner. Seheg has it, and it is out of bounds. But they have trapped PEI deep in their own end. Emil Seheg, of course, a young dynamic player who's been on the Canadian radar. He's wearing number 14 for Fredericton this afternoon. Keep your eye on him. They will try and use him to effect with kick chases like that. And once again, a butchered line out. You get the sense that the first team to kind of find their precision this afternoon is going to open the scoring. It's been a little messy for PEI so far, with the Loyalists now gathering themselves for yet another scrum. A giant push from PEI and a messy delivery. That is the effect the PEI pack can have. They are a massive group of front row. And we'll see what they can do now with their own possession. PEI scrum on the Mudmen 22-meter line in midfield. You get the sense that it will likely be a few carries from the PEI pack before we see any type of kick. We'll soon find out. They go to the backs, and the kick comes early. On the bounce, good possession by PEI. Driving the Loyalists back into their own half. If you're just joining us, it is 0-0 in the early minutes of the 2017 Caledonia Cup here from the Fredericton Loyalist Rugby Ground in Fredericton, New Brunswick. The Loyalists in red to my broadcast left, PEI in black and green to my broadcast right. The berm here in Fredericton is full, hundreds in attendance. We hope thousands watching online. And the Loyalists making good use of their lineout. Advancing now, 10 meters at a time. They move it to the backs. And that is a very effective offload by Fredericton. They are moving it downfield with great precision. Zach Fitch through the middle. He's going to need help. Have to clean out early today. PEI will be after that ball, and they have slowed it down. Illegally, says the referee. And the Fredericton has gotten some quality advantage from that attack. It does look as though Johnny Cullen is calling for the tee, and he is. Cullen is a very reliable kicker in addition to being the Loyalist scrum half of choice. And as the wind picks up here, will Fredericton be able to open the scoring? Good moment to thank some of our sponsors who helped us all season to initiate some of these great rugby programs here in the city of Fredericton. The Lunar Rogue Pub, official pub of the Fredericton Loyalists, and a great supporter of rugby in this part of the country. Colin lines it up, and it is going to be wide right. Back to the 22 we come, PEI with the ball. You get a sense that although the Loyalists are playing with better precision to start with, that nerves are a factor all around. This is the climax of the season for these men. Amateur athletes perhaps, but they do not maintain an amateur schedule. Dry land training in the winter. And that is Emil Seheg stepping, going. Fredericton clears out very well. Is PEI offside? The referee says no. They continue to move it left. Fitch taking it up through the middle. Space now opening up on the right-hand side. Loyalists choose to go left with it. Being met by some significant PEI tackles. That was a collision, and have they turned it over? They have. Fredericton trying to go with the flow on that play. The space was perhaps open to the right for them. And now we're going to see what PEI can do when kicking for field position. That is a very useful kick, and down the field come the Mudmen. Deep inside the Fredericton 22 they will line up. We appreciate you joining us here. Incoming throw. And another loose one, but picked up by the Mudmen in midfield. A bit of a whip tackle there. The referee keeps his arm down. The ball is loose, and the referee says play on, but through the middle come the Mudmen. Fredericton screaming to align their defense. PEI will have to avoid making the same mistake and getting themselves isolated. Have Fredericton turn it over? They have indeed. This is not a day where you want to be slow to support. Zach Fitch takes it up for the Loyalists. You get a sense the kick is coming, and back go the PEI back three. And from inside the 22, that ball is going to find touch. For those of you who have perhaps not heard Back it comes. Apparently, that kick was made from outside the 22. So a mistake in the kicking from the Loyalists. Back it comes. We're going to have a PEI throw into the line. More precision will be needed from the Mudmen on their throws. The last two have found Loyalist hands. Perhaps they'll try to shorten it up here. Bit of banter back and forth. Both teams eager to try and get a message early to the referee. They do go long with it, and forward come the Mudmen. They are about 8 meters out on the right-hand side of the field. Short throw incoming. They will try and play in that 9-10 channel, will PEI. They move it left. Loyalists up. Where are the first up tackles? There they are. Loyalists challenging on the ground. PEI comes back right with it. Caught at a standing stop was the PEI open side. There's the prop forwards that we had talked about earlier. PEI will use those to their advantage today. Loose ball on the ground. Imprecision from the Mudmen, costing them at this early stage of the game. Will result in another Loyalist scrum. If Fredericton has had faults early in this game, it has been in their clearance attempts in their own end. That cannot continue. You do not want to give this PEI team repeated opportunities in your 22. Johnny Cullen puts the ball in. Huge push from PEI. Still Fredericton come away with it from the back. What can they manufacture from here? Challenges and a useful kick. This time it finds touch on the bounce. And the effective chase will bring the Loyalists all the way into the PEI half. Very useful kick from Fredericton.
Nice kick, James.
So for those of you who have not heard about the fine work happening at the Loyalist Rugby Club, one of the most effective youth programs in all of Atlantic Canada. Hundreds of children taking part every year in touch and junior rugby. PEI manages to tighten up their throw into the line, and that is a very useful kick. A drop ball by the PEI winger, but that was an incredibly intelligent play of rugby right there. Fredericton has come away with it. PEI's execution just letting them down again. They've had some very, very intelligent opportunities. Just need to be a little more precise. Johnny Cullen moves the ball right. There's the kick. And Emil Saheg does put on the chase for Fredericton. Still, perhaps too much space for the PEI winger. And he is away down the line. Oh, and he's down the field. And the touch judge raises his flag. What lessons will Fredericton take from that? The chase will have to be harder and more effective. They will not want to repeat that scenario. Only a bit of chalk saved them from a breakaway try on that occasion. Dexter Coughlin, the PEI winger, was well and clear down the field if he had not stepped out of bounds. This time, throw into the line. We'll see the Fredericton Loyalists come away down the middle of the field. Has the ball been stripped? It has indeed. PEI have it in midfield, and there is space out left. A shocking pass by PEI, but still they come. This time they come back left, and there is space. PEI sucking in Fredericton tacklers. Now the space starts to move. And Fredericton will be penalized. Back they go for refusing to release in the tackle. The last time PEI had this opportunity, they put themselves deep in an attacking position. Not quite as effective this time. They will set themselves up 3 meters from the Fredericton 22. Many thanks to Coors Light, the official beer of the Fredericton Loyalists. You may be able to see those markings on the far side of the field. There's an effective throw from PEI. They have tightened up that part of their game, and through the midfield they come. Oh, and another shocking pass, too ambitious from the Mudmen. Fredericton pours in. PEI looking for the space, but you get the sense that they will have to be more exact. Big runners for the Mudmen. They move it left, and big runners indeed. Look at this. There are the prop forwards we discussed. PEI deep inside Fredericton's 22, and left come the Mudmen. There is space opening up on the far side of the field. Hands play. Looking for the winger, and again, where is the precision from PEI this afternoon? Fredericton have secured possession, and they will want to be careful. Johnny Cullen puts a kick through, but lots of space and lots of time for PEI. That is Liam Carter, the PEI open side, and he is going for a bit of a run. Through one tackler, through two, a diving tackle. PEI is on the attack here, and they have an overlap. Down the left side they come. A big, important tackle by Fredericton, and the referee has his arm out. PEI in possession and with the advantage. Fredericton are scrambling. Drop goal attempt, and through it goes. Well, well, well. There is something that you do not expect to see in a game like this. My goodness, Marcus Dumfrey, number 17 for PEI, had the Loyalists scrambling on defense and calmly, ever so calmly, put it through the uprights. It is 3-0 here at the Fredericton Loyalist ground in the 2017 Caledonia Cup. And the PEI Mudmen have opened the scoring with a drop goal nonetheless. Johnny Cullen marches his team back to midfield, puts up the kickoff, and down the field come Fredericton with some impressive tackling. PEI still with space to the left. Fredericton trying hard to come up quickly and disrupt. Down the field that comes. Effective chase by PEI. Cullen taking the ball for Fredericton. He has numbers to the left, and there they go. It's Emil Seheg. He has become isolated. Johnny Cullen in possession. PEI swarm the tackle. They have hands on the ball. What is going to result here? Trying to secure the ball is Fredericton, but it has been turned over. The Mudmen caught Johnny Cullen in possession on that play. And where was the call there? Simple hands play, thrown out of bounds. The call from PEI, slow it down. And you get the sense that had the Mudmen been able to tighten up on some of these passes, they would be up by more than 3 points. Fredericton have had some impressive flashes of their own. Johnny Cullen to put the ball in. Let's see what they can do here at midfield. We're about 10 minutes into this Caledonia Cup final. Cullen comes left. Sehig. Big tackle by the Mudmen. Ball is scrappy and loose on the ground. And knocked forward in the tackle. By God, there are some collisions happening today. Thank you to our friends at Rugby Canada, BC Rugby News, some of the other outlets who were fortunate enough to pass on the link to this live stream. PEI coming away down the right-hand side, stepping, going, They've made 20 meters with a series of offloads. Fredericton looking to set their line. Big men coming for PEI. They will use those prop forwards to maximum effect. Fredericton with their hands on the ball legally, and yes, they have turned it over. Back march the Mudmen. Both teams perhaps too slow, too ambitious, you ask? The support must come quickly in these championship matches. Both teams will look to pillage that ball. And so far the referee seems content to let them, happy with the execution on that end. Both teams have been executing well in the line-out after a bit of a shaky start by PEI. And that is a very effective line-out by Fredericton. Johnny Cullen stepping and going himself. Again scrappy, but again the Loyalists come on the slow pick to the right. They drive. 10 meters march the Loyalists, and now to the backs they come. Matt Coffey with the drop ball. Now he pursues. To his feet he gets and challenges, giving his team a bit of a chance to set up. PEI, you get the sense that perhaps the pace of play is beginning to see teams find a little more space here. That was a loose hand. The referee has his arm out. Cynical knock. And a simple penalty. From midfield, PEI quickly look for touch. What kind of kick can they get? That is not going to find kick. Emil Seheg. Unfortunate timing. Had that ball been allowed to go, it likely would have been a Loyalist possession instead. Fredericton winger stepping out of bounds. And the giant Phil Lanthier to throw in for PEI. He of the 30-meter run just a few moments ago. PEI now look to move the ball wide. Runners moving at pace. Fredericton needs to tackle, and they do. PEI looking to accelerate the pace of play. Using big men out wide, looking for mismatches. That ball was lost. And Fredericton now have stolen it.
Nice steal!
Seheg with an intelligent steal. He caught his man not looking after the ball. And that is the kind of advanced rugby skill you'll see from people who have exposure to the national program. Fredericton could really use an effective clearance kick at this point. About 15 yards. They might have hoped for more. Curtis Lazon will throw the ball in for the Loyalists. Lazon himself, a product of the Ontario Elite program. Moved here to Fredericton for professional commitments. The Loyalists are happy to have him. And that may have been perhaps one of the loosest throws Fredericton has made. And will they pay for it? PEI looking for offloads, trying to come at pace, trying to accelerate the game. They move it right. A kick and the chase. They seem to have caught them. This could be trouble for Fredericton. Johnny Cullen showing the crowd his pace. And Fredericton's scrum half was all that stood between his team and a PEI try. Some intelligent rugby being seen on both teams with kicks. The difference perhaps being the effectiveness of the chase. And we'll give PEI the advantage on that score this afternoon. Johnny Cullen launches one to midfield. Fredericton up together. Broken tackle to start off. Fredericton still scrambling a little on defense. PEI looking to use their big runners out wide, and an overlap has come. This surely should be a try. PEI down to the 2-meter line, the offload, and a very important tackle. Emil Seheg, Johnny Cullen there for the team in red. My goodness, a 4-on-1 opportunity for PEI. You got the sense that what was needed was a step in field there. Fredericton using the sideline to great effect. But now they are forced to scrum against a formidable PEI pack at their own 5-meter line. PEI's back 3. Awaiting the eventual clearance kick. Pickup, an opportunity perhaps for Fredericton. They continue to attack as PEI scrambles. Now the clearance kick will come. PEI's back 3 are ready for it.
Nice!
Bit of a squirrely bounce. Not much to be done on the kick return there. Possession certainly in favor of the Mudmen, especially in the mid portion of this first half of the Caledonia Cup. The team in black has played much of the last 10 minutes in Fredericton's half of the field. Fredericton penalized for pulling down the man in the air. PEI thought about going quickly for a moment, but instead they are going to pound Fredericton back into their own 22, where they can try and use their big runners. That is a very effective kick. It is going to land at the Fredericton 5-meter line, and my goodness, perhaps the best attacking opportunity of the day goes to the PEI Mudmen. Thanks to their extremely effective kicks for touch, Fredericton looks to line up here. If ever there was a moment to try and disrupt the throw, but surely PEI will keep it short here. Go for a high percentage play, and as if they heard me, they go long. PEI trying to keep the ball standing up, but it has gone to ground. Fredericton look to contest and slow things. It goes wide, a step towards the line. They come with the offload and the try. Simple stuff in the end. One pass to the right, a support runner coming at pace. Fredericton were scrambling. And for all of the weapons the Loyalists possess, they find themselves now down 8-0, perhaps soon to be 10-0, on their home ground here at the Caledonia Cup. Marcus Dunphy, number 17 in black, already has shown us the quality of his kicking this afternoon, as you can hear the wind beginning to rise. This to put PEI ahead 10-0 in the first half. It appears there may be a bit of a commentator's curse here this afternoon. I'll try not to lay any comments and any praise of anyone's kicking or skills. Johnny Cullen gets us started again. It is 8-0 for the men in black as Fredericton pour forward in pursuit of possession that has eluded them for the last 12 minutes. PEI will give it to them here. What can they do with it? Saheg with Cullen in support. looking for an offload, and it comes. PEI looking to jackal the ball. Fredericton move it to the short side. They have to be careful of the sideline. Zach Fitch. Fredericton's big second row. Breaks one tackle, breaks a second, places it. Fredericton up, looking to use it. PEI up very quickly. Perhaps illegally so. In any event, they have knocked it on. Cohen looks left, draws, and another knock on. The first knock on by PEI, the second by Fredericton as they try to move it left. In here, 40 meters from the PEI line, you get the sense that Fredericton could use a bit of confidence. A kick for touch, a successful series, something to get them in the flow. Como stands in at number 8. He's had several successful pickups for Fredericton this afternoon. And there's another one coming. Saheg on the short side. A good carry and a nice offload from the ground. Saheg takes it again. Another offload at the back of the hand. Fredericton rolling forward. PEI doing a good job of keeping the Fredericton backline under surveillance. Fredericton will look to stretch the field, as they do here. And that was perhaps predictable. PEI matched the numbers up very well. They read that play by Fredericton, and they were up very quickly to put a hand on that. A broken play for the Loyalists, and once more the men in black will take possession. Up 8-0 are PEI. Mike Dahan, useful scrum half for PEI, stands in, number 8 pickup. PEI will look to attack from here. Broken tackles one after another. Fredericton will have to do better than that. Another chance for a first up tackle. Questionable play by PEI. Saheg takes a pass out of the back of the hand from Matt Coffey. Cohen, Zach Fitch. Cohen moves it left. PEI again up very quickly. This time, you get the sense that PEI know where to put their defense this afternoon. They have the Fredericton backline under a watchful eye. In from the side, says the referee. And Fredericton will be granted yet another opportunity. What can they do with this? To touch it goes. The last throw by Fredericton was loose. A smooth line-out play here could very well set them up in good position. They go to the middle of the line and they drive. Fredericton making good progress early. PEI putting men in. They're looking to suck in defenders there. How many can they draw? The ball is loose. Why is that? The referee says it has been played illegally by PEI, and back they go. Cohen quick to the ball. And now Fredericton applying a bit of pressure. Words are being spoken by the referee to PEI. He was not happy with their play on that occasion. And now the Fredericton Loyalists stand at the PEI 5-meter line. Their best attacking opportunity of the day. A smooth collection. The drop, the drive for the line. Fredericton clear out. Cohen looks right. Fitch taking it up through the middle. He's covered in black shirts. Cohen makes a dive for the line. He's turned back. Fredericton a little bit left. The referee is right there. Are they across the line? Loose pass to the wing. And the PEI sidelines are jubilant. The men in black turn back. The latest Loyalist effort. Quick throw by PEI into the line, allowed by the referee. They're away. PEI trying to play some ambitious rugby now late in the first half. Effective kick. The touch judge stands at the PEI 22, where Fredericton will once again have a throw into the line. Curtis Lazon looking for Fitch. They go short. And it is loose, picked up by PEI. The Mudmen secure and move the ball. High kick, 50-50 ball. Seheg in the air. Takes it, knocked forward. PEI has the advantage. They roll forward in possession. Effective offloads through the pods for PEI. They look left where they have an overlap. Danger for Fredericton. Now the numbers come and out of bounds. Adam Fitzpatrick was the winger caught in possession for PEI. That is not the first time the Mudmen have found themselves pressed up against the sideline. You get the sense that they're going to have to watch their positioning on the wing. Excellent take by the Fredericton second row. And now they come stepping, moving. Fredericton across midfield. Cohen looks to move the ball quickly and they move it left. Fredericton looking to use their back line. They must avoid the same mistake. Watch that sideline. But they have not. A rugby field is only so wide. Both teams seem to have trouble with the field's dimensions at the moment. Fredericton play the ball ambitiously. Quickly they come. There is an overlap. Seheg has the ball and he is away. It's a foot race. He needs support. PEI are there in numbers, but the Loyalists do preserve the ball. They will look to play from here, 30 meters from the PEI goal line. And stripped by PEI. Loose play all around. Eric Duplessis, the Loyalist fullback, pumps his legs, drives forward. Fredericton could use a series of possessions, but this might be the change in the game they've been waiting for. Seheg, was he played early? The referee has his arms out. What is the call? Johnny Cohen put in the kick, and for the first time perhaps all game, the Fredericton chase was excellent. Emil Seheg was there. And voices from the berm here in Fredericton had shouted that he was played early. The referee said no, it was a knock-on. And now PEI will play it from their own 5-meter line. The clock ticking down here in the first half of the Caledonia Cup. Here comes the clearance. And that is going to find touch. 10 meters outside their own 22. And the men in black march to the line out. Up 8-0 against Fredericton. Here at the Loyalist home ground. Curtis Lazon with the throw. Looking for Fitch. And instead, they find Eric Plant at the back. The Loyalist through the middle. Open space. Matt Coffey looking for the offload. Loyalist secure. Cohen looking left. Complaining to the referee. And now what will they do? Will they go quickly? They are directly in front of the posts. Down 8-0 with time running out. And Cohen immediately points to the posts. Opportunity to come away with points here in a very close game. Fredericton enjoying a late surge in possession in this first half. After spending much of the middle part of this interval camped in their own 22 defending PEI attacks. Cohen sets the ball in a kick he surely made 1,000 times in practice. Through the posts, the flags go up. And from the berm, a cautiously optimistic round of applause as the men in red march back to midfield. That is halftime at the 2017 Caledonia Cup. I am Jeff Hull, and you have been listening to our live stream of this Atlantic Canadian Club Championship. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back with you in just a little bit. And we are back for the second half of the 2017 Caledonia Cup here from the Loyalist Rugby Ground in Fredericton, New Brunswick. The Loyalists lining up to my broadcast right in red. The PEI Mudmen ahead by 5 points by a line of 8-7 in black to my broadcast left after one of the shortest half times I've ever seen in a rugby game. These players eager to get on with it. Hundreds of people here on the berm of the Fredericton ground. We hope thousands watching on this live stream, thanks to Rugby Canada, BC Rugby News, and all points in between for sharing the link. Emile Seheg, Rugby Canada product. Eric Duplessis, Fredericton's fullback, now getting his legs moving. Fredericton with the opportunity now to play with more pace. They are down by 5 points and are looking to use the ball more effectively in the second half. The Loyalists, they're in numbers. PEI monitoring the Loyalist backline as they have all day. Still the Loyalists come through. The referee says play on after a bit of scrappiness on the ground. Bit of an overlap for Fredericton. Zach Fitch moves the ball. Numbers there for the men in black. PEI contesting. The Fredericton Loyalists come right. Steps. And the referee has his arm out. Opportunity here for Fredericton. Cohen steps, draws. Fitch, hands play. There is an opportunity here for the Loyalists, and they are in the corner. Eric Duplessis in front of a scoreboard that is about to change. Fredericton has tied the game in the opening minutes of the second half. And you get the sense that the Fredericton coaching staff and captains had a stiff word at halftime about the standards Coach Keith McAlpine. Experienced coach. Having guided the Loyalists to several Caledonia Cups, certainly knows the standard it takes. And it does appear as though a fire was lit under the men in red at halftime. They were moving their feet with a purpose, in support, with ball in hand, in the rucks. And now the talking has picked up. Johnny Cullen has the opportunity to put his team in the lead. The score sits at 8-8. Difficult kick, light wind. Quiet comes over the pitch. Kick is up. A good effort, but it is left. And no good. The score sits tied 8-8. And from the sidelines, you begin to see reserves warming up for both teams. All over the field, players looking to make an impact. Now with less than 40 minutes. And that is an impact right there. PEI have recaptured their own kickoff, and they are looking to put Fredericton under pressure. They come right. Big hit by Matt Coffey down the right-hand side. Fredericton pile in, looking to recover. The referee puts their arm up, and in come the men in red with backslaps and applause. Matt Coffey. Talk about making an impact. Man and ball dropped to the ground, and in came the Fredericton Jackals. In case you hadn't noticed, ladies and gentlemen, the play has picked up. The aggression levels, the intensity. Atlantic Canadian Rugby is known for the muscular nature of its games. And there are going to be some hits now in the second half. Men on both sides putting their bodies on the line, running with purpose. PEI doing just that, a bit of a knock on perhaps, but the referee says play on. It went backwards. Hands play. PEI will use those big men through the middle. Bit of a jersey tackle there. Contesting on the ground. Interesting. Sidestep by PEI as they come around the side of the ruck. Marcus Dumfrey stepping into the fly half position there for PEI. Bit of a show and go. PEI looking too upright in the tackles. Fredericton looking to jackal the ball. Fredericton's line is well and truly set. They are making their first up tackles here. PEI gaining not much of anything with these attacks. Will we see a kick? They push it straight to the wing on the skip pass. Fredericton are there in numbers. Back 20 yards from where they began are the PEI Mudmen, and now a hand comes through for Fredericton. A knock-on, says the referee. Was it a cynical knock-on? You get the sense that that just wasn't the intent. There is an advantage here, but there is also opportunity. PEI comes away with it. Still advantage. And now the advantage is gone, but the PEI Mudmen are on the attack. Missed tackles have resulted in a PEI charge up the field. Fredericton is looking awfully light on the left side of the field as that's where the ball comes now. Big tackles coming through. That was Emil Seheg putting the hit in for Fredericton, and they have turned it over. A 50-50 ball that goes nowhere. Reclaimed by the Loyalists. Perhaps mercifully, the referee's whistle goes. It had all gone a little frantic. If you are watching this broadcast live, do feel free to tweet at us. I'm on Twitter at @HoAtHome. And of course, the Fredericton Loyalists account will be happy to retweet anything that you send along. We're going to have one of our first scrums of the second half with Johnny Cohen putting in this ball for Fredericton. Heaves and grunts all around. Men putting everything they had into that scrum. And a knock on. PEI have disrupted. Thanks to our sponsors, Fredericton Nissan. Sponsors of the youth programs here at the Fredericton Rugby Club. And all around great people. You'll see some of their fine vehicles on display here in camera range up on the berm. Impossible to do the fine youth rugby work that happens here without such sponsors. And in the meantime, PEI is rolling forward. Big hits from the Loyalists through the midfield, but are they enough? We will see. The kick has come through, the chase from PEI. And it is through the back of the in goal area. Fredericton were on the attack. PEI on the chase, I should say. Back to the spot of the kick we come. And the Fredericton Loyalists will have a scrum. We are tied 8-8, 30 minutes to go here in the 2017 Caledonia Cup. The club championship for Atlantic Canada. PEI, of course, representing their entire province. The Fredericton Loyalists, champions of the Maritime Elite League. Knock on. PEI in possession. Broken tackles. All of a sudden they find themselves 10 meters out. PEI driving forward. They are 5 meters away. Fredericton lining up on defense. What do they have in the tank? We'll soon find out. Tackles coming in from the Loyalists. PEI look to reorganize. Runners at speed. They move the ball wide. Broken tackle. 1 meter away. Fredericton scrambling. A dive and a try for the Prince Edward Island Mudmen. The right side of the berm here in Fredericton erupts. The men in black jog backwards. And all of a sudden, the tie has broken. And they are in an excellent position to add 2 more points, RPEI. Marcus Dunphy was unable to make his last conversion. This one is very close to the post indeed. PEI up by 5. The kick is up. And it is through. PEI extend their lead to 7 points. Perhaps 25 minutes left to play in the Caledonia Cup. Coach Keith McAlpine standing on the Fredericton sideline. Up to 20 Caledonia Cups sit on the bench for Fredericton. Former Canadian international Simon Pacey, Brent Rooney, Men who know what it takes to close out matches, but first they are going to have to close the score. Fredericton need the ball. And so far, PEI is doing an excellent job of hanging on to it here in the second half. Driving forward, maintaining possession, cycling. Big hits coming in from Fredericton, and they have turned over the ball. The Loyalists break free down the field, and they are going to tie this match with the conversion kick to come. How about that? From the inside center position, Howe was through. My goodness. Just like that, a missed tackle. And you would be foolish not to bet on Johnny Cohen putting this through the post to tie the game for Fredericton. First up tackles, so important in championship rugby. A very personal thing for rugby players to make those tackles. So much depends on it. The kick is up, and of course, it is through. The score is tied. Now 23 minutes left. And we are at 15 points apiece. Movement stirs on the Fredericton bench. Players on the PEI sidelines beginning to stand. At what point do fresh legs begin to become a factor in this? Apparently immediately. As two PEI reserves march onto the field, what response will we see from Fredericton? What kind of energy can the reserves bring for PEI? We'll find out on this kickoff. Up it goes. The sidestep and the carry forward from Fredericton. They're in to secure the ball. Cullen moves it right. Eric Plant, one of the big second rows for Fredericton, takes the ball forward. Now the kick is going to come. What can the PEI back three do with this? The ball into touch. And because the kick came from outside the Fredericton 22, PEI will have the throw from the spot of the kick. And that is not a mistake you want to be making in a championship game. From here, PEI will look to use their big runners and achieve a position that will allow them to drive for the Fredericton goal line. They have the first step done. Excellent throw. Runners coming at pace. Big tackles coming from the Fredericton midfield. Still PEI roll forward. Offload, switch of play. Fredericton have intercepted the ball, and the men in red shirts pour forward to secure. Oh, intelligent play by Fredericton. The referee is calling play back. Unhappy with the PEI Mudmen for some reason. Mercifully so, perhaps, for Fredericton. They had looked for an overlap and thrown the ball into touch. Now they have an opportunity to get out of their own half. Will they take it? 25 yards into our own broadcast booth comes that kick. And Curtis Lazon marches his men to midfield. The score sits 15 apiece. 20 minutes left in the Caledonia Cup. The height of the Atlantic rugby season for men in this part of the country. Zach Fitch looks intently at Curtis Lazon. It'll be Eric Plant on the take. Johnny Cullen looks right. Low pass. Short offload. Fredericton looking to play the rugby though. And it has all gone pear-shaped on the far side of the field. Double knock-on PEI ball. You get the sense that the team that can execute the best down the last 20 minutes is going to walk away with the trophy here. Once again, thanks to some of our sponsors, Fredericton Nissan, the Lunar Rogue, Coors Light. There are some of the collisions we talked about. First up tackle so important, not being made here as PEI roll towards the Fredericton 22. There are collisions happening, but men not going to ground, fighting for every yard. PEI are rolling forward now. The men in black looking to use the ball. Fredericton coming up quickly. Room perhaps on the right for PEI. That is the way they go. Excellent tackle. Ball loose. Fredericton in possession. Eric Plant. Matt Coffey. Johnny Cullen looks right. Zach Fitch. Loose ball. And once again, lack of precision. We have one knock on and a second knock on. It's all gone a bit loose here. The team that finds a little precision is going to be in good shape, and we have, for the first time, men going down injured here. That is the Velma. John the Velma. Fredericton front row. PEI having already made 2 substitutions here. A useful rest for both teams. Lactic acid will be building up in the muscles now. It has been scrappy at times, but it has been hotly contested. Reserves coming on now for Fredericton. The Velma exits the field. PEI has the ball inside the Fredericton half. Less than 20 minutes to play here in the 2017 Caledonia Cup. Effective push from Fredericton. PEI will have a clean ball though. It comes out. The switch of play. PEI looking to make yards, and they have. Back go the Loyalists to reset their line. PEI look right. Legs driving. Little kick through. Fredericton feels it cleanly. Down the field, there is no chase. PEI have the numbers. What can they do on this counterattack? There's the kick in reply. Now comes Fredericton's chance on the counter. Johnny Cohen on the left-hand side in support. Fredericton will need to clean this out. Questionable play on the ground. The referee says play on. The crowd moans, but PEI comes away with it. And the men in black are moving the ball left, and they are moving it quickly. Missed tackles from Fredericton. An offload, and the Loyalists are in trouble. PEI down the left-hand side with numbers. The ball comes right. Hard runners for PEI. They are 10 meters out. Looking right, looking for the overlap. It exists. Do they see it? Now they come right. One more pass should do it. For the line they go. PEI. The referee has called time. Confers with his touch judge. It was all scramble, and you sense it was there for PEI. .22, and the Loyalists run up ambitiously. No try. In the opinion of the referee, no try was scored. He has awarded the Fredericton Loyalists a 22 dropout. The score remains 15-15. But PEI have remained camped in the Fredericton half for the last 5 minutes. And the tackles seem looser than they have been. Cohen picks up his own scrappy ball, steps, goes, and looks for an overlap himself. Fredericton dancing on the white chalk. The ball is exceptionally loose. Loose play everywhere. A 50-50 ball goes up and a knock forward. Calm heads, the call from both teams. Settle down. Rely on systems. And on the bench for both of these teams, men who know what it is to play in Caledonia Cup finals. With a score being level at this point, what will be the decider? Fredericton comes forward with an impressive number 8 pickup. Cohen looks to move the ball right. Fredericton moves at pace through the midfield, but it has been lost. Knocked forward, and PEI again find themselves in possession. Again, the tackles and offloads so important. Down the left-hand side, they are 15 meters out. Now 12 meters out. They look right. Offloads coming. PEI marching dangerously close. Men coming at speed. Overlaps everywhere. PEI for the line, and they are in. The right side of the berm in Fredericton erupts as the PEI traveling support sense that the tide may have turned. 15 minutes to go in this Caledonia Cup final. And PEI, after a series of offloads, swept the ball right and in a foot race, outraced the Fredericton cover defense to the corner. This will be a very difficult kick. So at the moment, it is simply a 5-point lead.
Time, sir.
The referee confirms we have 15 minutes to go in this game. PEI up 5 points at the moment, 20-15. PEI's kicker, Marcus Dunphy, lines up his kick. Important kick. And left it goes. The men in red jog back to midfield. What precision do they have left in the tank? What sense of purpose? They need the ball, and then they need to use it effectively. And to the fourth referee's position marches Simon Pacey, former Canadian international, prolific try scorer in his day. Can he provide the leadership and the calm head needed to see Fredericton through to a Caledonia Cup championship? They need the ball first. Big hit coming in. Fredericton's defense is there. PEI look to play with it in their own end. Ball is loose on the ground. The referee says play on. PEI again come away with it. Fredericton contesting on the ground. Kick coming through. Eric Duplessis back with it. He has support. Big tackle coming in from PEI. Have they turned it over? Fredericton look to secure. They move it right. Pacey. Seheg. Shocking high tackle. The referee has called a knock forward. In the opinion of this announcer, the tackle was perhaps a little high. However,
Big push, Loyalist, big push!
12 minutes to play in the Caledonia Cup of 2017. PEI up by 5 points over the home side Fredericton Loyalists. They are in Fredericton's half. And a huge shove by Fredericton. PEI continues to come away with it. A big run through the middle. One broken tackle. And PEI continue to move the ball. Fredericton are going to have to make tackles. They are going to need possession. PEI throw the ball away in disgust. Eric Duplessis picks it up. Johnny Cullen stands with the ball. The Loyalists have 11 and a half minutes in which to answer PEI's second half score. It would take only a converted try to secure Fredericton's first Caledonia Cup in years. A fast throw into the lineout. The referee has his arm out. Fredericton, with Pacey standing in at 10, roll forward. The referee watching carefully. Fredericton rolls their pods forward, looks for the offload. Simple hands now to the wing. Fredericton need to secure. Zach Fitch. PEI now up very quickly in defense. Johnny Cullen looks right. Simon Pacey in at flaw half again. Fredericton looking to use their speed outside. They need to secure the ball after it goes to ground. Cullen screaming for his forwards to clear out. The referee raises his arm. And once again, PEI emerges from the contact area with the ball. Fredericton trying to play ambitious rugby, trying to use their speed outside, but PEI has done a very good job of keeping that part of Fredericton's offense in check all day. And once again, Fredericton are marched back into their own half. What is needed now is some impact play by Fredericton. They cannot allow PEI to roll forward. And there it is, an intercept ball. A botched lineout has awarded Fredericton possession, and they are rolling forward all the way to midfield. What do the Loyalists have in the tank now? They need to move the ball quickly. They choose right. Zach Fitch, Simon Pacey, caught in possession and offload. Fredericton moving quickly with the ball now. They need to secure it, and what's more, they need to organize their attack. PEI have turned over the ball again. A bit of an offload, a bit of an overlap. PEI playing the ball on the ground perhaps. The referee says play on. Big hits coming in by the Loyalists. Players emptying the tank now, knowing there's only minutes left to play. PEI picks the ball up off the ground. A step and they are through. Where is the black support? Fredericton looking for the turnover. PEI still have it. And they are rolling forward with pods of their own now. It has been hotly contested on the ground all day. The play has gone backwards. PEI rolling forward, chewing precious minutes off the clock. And a forward pass. Under 10 minutes to play in this half. Under 10 minutes to play in the Caledonia Cup. The Fredericton Loyalists, Maritime Elite League champions, having beaten the PEI Mudmen on the island, stand on their home ground down by 5 points. All over the field, calls of calm, keep your head, systems. But with only minutes left to play, can all of that come to pass? Simon Pacey is there to see to the calmness. Eric Duplessis, Emile Sehig are loose down the right-hand side. Fredericton is down the field. It's a foot race. Can they get there? They can! The referee is in discussion with the PEI captain in the PEI end zone, but he has made no signal that the try has not counted. He is walking back with Johnny Cullen. We have a tie game. It is the Caledonia Cup final on the north bank of the St. John River, and the Fredericton Loyalists sit at 20-20 with 5 minutes left to play. Johnny Cullen can give his team the lead. This is within his range, and although a difficult kick, one he has made before.
Let's go, Andy Smasher!
Reserves step off the Fredericton bench. Johnny Cullen steps back and looks out at the St. John River and the goalpost that can give his team a 2-point lead. And perhaps the Caledonia Cup itself. The kick is through! PEI jogged to halfway, down for the first time in a long time. Fredericton set their team for the kickoff. Possession now, so important. Black shirts diving onto the ground. The referee raises his arm illegally. Questions all over the field as to what is the call in this situation. The referee is pointing out players and asking for a conversation. You get the sense that this is going to be about a flying body tackle. Yellow card. High tackle. Yellow card awarded. And for the rest of this game, PEI is going to be down one man. It appears that that is number 16, Mike Stewart, who is exiting the field. He is exiting it for good. If PEI is to win their Caledonia Cup title, it will be with 14 men. The player leaving the pitch right now for Fredericton is Curtis Lazon, who has done yeoman's work at the hooker position all day for the men in red. Former Canadian international Simon Pacey stands with the ball. There are moments left in this game, perhaps less than 4 minutes. The referee looks at his watch. Pacey stands at midfield and thunders the kick sideways, gaining maybe 3 meters, but gaining time. It is a race against the clock now. John Wilson, the replacement hooker, looks for Plant and Fitch. Plant jumps and as he has done all day, catches. The ball is knocked loose. Knocked on by Fredericton, says the referee. PEI with 14 men find themselves in possession now. Only moments to go. Decoy runners, tackles in midfield. Big hits coming in by the Loyalists and a knock forward. The referee has called time off. There was a massive collision in midfield. Fredericton's defense was up very quickly. And Johnny Cullen stands across from his opposite number. It will be a PEI put into the scrum. Again, there are minutes left in this game. Fredericton up by 2 points. Thanks to a remarkable Johnny Cullen kick. Offloads, Pacey up in midfield. They have the play held up. They have to release the tackle. The ball has become unplayable and the referee puts his arm out. It will be a Loyalist ball. Fredericton rejoice. How many more possessions do PEI have left in this game? This would not be the first time that teams have successfully killed out a championship clock with this much time remaining. It is a matter of precision and control, two aspects that have not always been present in this game. But if Fredericton can muster them here, it will be the end. The ball is loose at the back. Hotly contested on the ground. PEI shirts dive in. Fredericton commit men to the ruck. Huge run by Fredericton's replacement forward pack. PEI has secured possession. Holding on the ground is the call. Only the referee knows how much time is left. Fredericton are up by 2 points. A 3-point penalty will win the game, and that is exactly what has been called for. How much time is left? Has the referee told PEI that this is their last opportunity? The team retreats. With wind blowing stiffly from left to right on the banks of the St. John River, PEI are going to attempt a 45-yard kick from the left side of the field to win the game, or at the very least take the lead. One gets the sense that this may be all deciding. The crowd unable to stay silent. The Loyalists standing and watching. The kick is up. It is going to be short. There is time remaining. Fredericton in no hurry to see this play restart. PEI playing with only 14 men. Simon Pacey takes the ball. Questionable decision as it has come directly off a PEI hand. Another questionable precision, perhaps. The ball has been kicked out of play. Fredericton desperately needed to maintain possession, and instead PEI have been granted one last throw into the line. It is up and it is smooth. PEI have it, a drop pass. The ball has gone backward. Fredericton pour into the ruck. It is moved left. Fredericton set their line. They must be careful now. Another penalty could cost them dearly from this position. Everything depends on precision. Knock forward. The referee has his arm out. Is this the end of the game? It appears there is time for one last scrum. So difficult to know how much injury time the referee is playing. Surely we are closing out on the end of the game. Simon Pacey standing in at 10, Johnny Cohen at 9. Can the Loyalists muster a possession off of this scrum? PEI puts the shove on. The ball is loose. Fredericton attack the short side, offloads. Support needed. Fredericton need to clean this out and maintain possession. They have for the time being. Around the right side of the ruck they go. PEI diving in off their feet. Red shirts pouring in. Johnny Cohen kicks the ball to touch, and the Fredericton Loyalists have their Caledonia Cup title. It was a result that was in doubt down to the last moment, but the men in red hug each other. And as their fans on the left side of the berm here in Fredericton come to their feet, they can understand that their club will soon be the home of the Caledonia Cup Trophy, one of this country's oldest rugby championships. The PEI Mudmen are to be congratulated for what was a thrilling contest. And we will leave you with these scenes of celebrating players and a completely suitable shake of hands. Thank you for joining us on this broadcast. It's been a pleasure to call this game of rugby to you. And congratulations again to the Fredericton Loyalists, Caledonia Cup champions in 2017.